when we knew that the technology needed years to mature. So it's good that people are thinking about new ways to create these products that are more attractive, and it can become a bit of a mess. But it doesn't mean that the founders of the idea is not bad. It just means that the business model and the fundamentals were not right. As a family group and a family office, your goal is to preserve wealth. Now they can look at more specific pieces of that crypto market. It's easier to regulate.
Hello and welcome. Thank you for tuning in. This is Cypher Talks, and today I'm with Obediah here on Today Wealth Summit in Dubai Mall, the Address Dubai Mall. Thank you for coming here.
Very
and
well.
Please, if you can tell us a little bit from a perspective of a family office investment, where does capital goes and how do you look as a strategy in this market to invest?
Very good question. So I guess talking to the camera, I'll let people know. Well, I think the world knows we've got US equities coming down. The US market is not doing the best. I think your industry being crypto, we can see that as well. We've still got the war going on in Europe, and we still have Asia in I call it an extended lockdown. Now, being in the Middle East is not a bad place to be, because to be honest, we don't have those issues here just yet. And one of the biggest incomes is traditionally from oil, and we're now put under pressure to produce more for the world. So I think being in this environment where we're not exposed to that, where we have the income of oil, which is not what the government or the UAE want, but they have to. So they're making money. Okay, they're making money, right? So when it comes to family offices or family groups in the region, there is not many options, right? Traditionally, a lot of people made money off growth stocks in the US. You know, Google, Netflix, Apple, you name it. If you want to invest in Europe, normally you went to big healthcare providers, pharmaceuticals. But again, with the war going on, with supply chain, these companies are not doing so well. They have issues. And with Asia in the extended lockdown, we don't have many other options. So as a family group and a family office, your goal is to preserve wealth. It's not always to just spend money. It's actually to say, what do we have and how do we look after it? And in Europe, our biggest issue is tax. We don't have that issue here. So when we look at now investing, what do we invest in the coming years? Early stage venture, we have a huge opportunity. Why? Because we know that the market will deem 2x, 3x on that investment, just on the world going back to normal, right? Commodities. We know the value of commodities. We know the values of precious metals. I've seen a lot of people in your industries pinning precious metals to crypto, right? And listing them. So it's good that people are thinking about new ways to create these products that are more attractive to institutions, family groups, to put cash to work. So I think overall, you could look at specific hedge funds, currencies, undervalued equities, emerging markets, private equity. There's a huge opportunity. MMA. I can go around now and find companies on the east of Russia, commodity businesses, timber yards, tech, development companies. So you have to look at where the opportunistic buy-in values are. So now going back to your industry, which is crypto.
Yes, tell us a little bit from your insights, because now
I know what crypto is. I've invested in it personally. I've had the Bitcoins, the Ethereums. I've invested in a couple of ICOs. No, they didn't go so well, but that was a good learning curve for me, because I like the business model, but when you pin it to a token that's free floating on a market, you have inflation, and it can become a bit of a mess. But it doesn't mean that the founders of the idea is not bad. It just means that the business model and the fundamentals were not right. So you learn from that. Now, in terms of crypto, again, we know that there's a lot of crypto now undervalued, which is opportunity, right? So as family groups and family offices, if we see the right structured product, the right infrastructure, like exchanges, great opportunity to invest in exchanges. Why? Because the market's going to start at a bottom where we buy in, and it will come back. So if we see it coming down now, we're like, right, at the end of this year, if we buy into an exchange, we're going to make money on the uptrend. And in listed products, again, the crypto companies coming in this year, we're taking more attention to them. Again, why? Because there's going to be more liquidity added to the crypto market. There's more regulation coming. We saw the ADGM gentlemen talk about how they are viewing regulation. Kraken, one of the most well-known exchanges, has now fully regulated in that environment. So it gives a lot of confidence to us that this market is believing in it, supporting it, and the regulation is only going to protect us from risk and downside, which is our biggest worry.
Right, I love it. You put it from perspective also as a personal investor, retail, and now you're putting, yes, that was your learning curve, that's
like
the best.
right?
Yeah.
I will invest in things on a personal level. And it's one of the best tests with your own money to invest in something to learn, if it's good or bad. And then I take that experience into the more sophisticated world, right, where we can do that on a bigger scale. So there's nothing better than losing. I think I lost like 25 grand on an ICO. I haven't even looked at it. It probably is worth still something, but I don't really care because I learned so much from it.
Yes, but like now as your job is to protect the wealth of the families, let's put it like that. So from security, how do you see the regulation coming in and protecting that wealth that you don't have this kind of downfalls? What do you see as a regulation? And here, pretty much in UAE, it is regulated, but on a bigger scale, right? We are waiting the bigger money to come into the crypto world. How did you call it? Our world.
Yeah, so bigger money.
Yes.
Bigger money in crypto. It's like what everybody wants.
Yeah.
Everybody wants it, and they all say it. We're waiting for the big money to come in. I don't know what that means, but
The regulation.
the regulation is getting better. Blockchain, it struggled to ever work on a large scale, meaning that people had dreams about, servicing millions of people when we knew that the technology needed years to mature. Exchanges needed to, have less tokens or coins on them, to trap the liquidity and not spread them across so many. Now regulation, now they can see more of the future. Now they can look at more specific pieces of that crypto market. It's easier to regulate. It's hard to regulate the masses. So my point is, when you have leaders, when you have these more sophisticated companies, like a Kraken, let's just use them as an example, ADGM regulated, they are now focusing on less tokens, less coins than other exchanges. So they're easier to regulate. So when it comes for bigger money, family wealth to come in, we need dedicated products that are secured, they produce a consistent yield. I don't care about 40% in the first month. I don't care. I care about 12% in 12 months, right? 1% a month. So that in itself, if you can create a regulated product with a good, steady yield around a company that is in a sophisticated regulatory environment, you're ticking all the boxes. Now, you're not going to get it perfect. You're not going to get regulated. But if you can get a piece of that supply chain where it has that sophisticated regulation, you're going to attract not just a 500K investment or a 100K investment or a 25K investment. You're going to attract 2 million, 5 million, 10 million. And that is all about protection, because I have a target on my back. I have to protect wealth, right? If I'm a venture capital fund, I have LPs, GPs that I have to look after their money. I can't be so speculative. If it's my money, it doesn't matter. I can do whatever I want. So what the crypto industry have to realize is the guys managing the money have a target on their back as well, and they have to work with them. So going in and saying you're missing out, we've got this many returns, is not always a good thing. You have to look after the person managing the money, because we have a target to manage money for our principals, our LPs, our GPs. And it's not as easy as just, this is amazing, this is the future. We're this, we've just raised 25 million. It means nothing. But it's getting there. And the UAE, again, because we're not correlated to all this madness in the world, they have time to regulate. They have time to condense. They're getting attention from all the big players around the world. So it seems like it's a hub. It seems like it's a hub for your world.
Thank you. Thank you very much for the talk. Pleasure, and hope to see you soon.
It helps.
Thank you for the talk and looking, and see you next time.
Thank you.